Eggs are fascinating when we examine them through the lens of brain metabolism and ND plus biology, but they're also one of the most controversial foods in nutrition science, so we need to unpack this carefully. For decades, eggs were demonized because of cholesterol concerns, then rehabilitated when we understood dietary cholesterol doesn't affect blood cholesterol the way we thought. Now we're looking at eggs through an entirely different framework: their role in supporting the biological machinery that keeps our brains functioning. The connection to ND plus comes primarily through niacin, which is vitamin B3. Your body uses niacin as a direct precursor to build NAD plus. Without adequate B3, your ND plus synthesis pathway simply doesn't have the raw materials it needs. Eggs provide a decent amount of niacin, though they're not the richest source available. But here's what makes eggs interesting: they also contain high-quality protein with a complete amino acid profile, and some of those amino acids, particularly tryptophan, can be converted into NAD plus through an alternative pathway called the de novo synthesis pathway. Then there's choline, which is absolutely critical for brain function and is particularly relevant to Alzheimer's disease. Choline supports the production of acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that's severely depleted in Alzheimer's patients. The connection to ND plus is more indirect here. Choline doesn't make ND plus, but it supports the broader metabolic environment in which ND plus functions. Healthy neurotransmission reduces cellular stress, which means less ND plus gets consumed by emergency repair processes. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Eggs are also high in cholesterol. And while dietary cholesterol isn't the demon we once thought, it's not completely irrelevant either. Some people are hyperresponders whose blood cholesterol does increase with dietary cholesterol intake. If you have cardiovascular disease, you need to be thoughtful about egg consumption because what's good for your brain might be complicated by what's happening in your arteries. There's also significant variability in egg quality. Eggs from pasture-raised chickens have different nutritional profiles than eggs from caged hens, particularly in terms of omega-3 content and vitamin levels. If you're eating eggs specifically for brain health support, quality probably matters more than quantity. One concern that doesn't get discussed enough: eggs are often prepared with inflammatory cooking fats. Scrambling your eggs in oxidized vegetable oil or butter that's been heated to smoking point creates oxidative compounds that might counteract some of the benefits. The preparation method matters significantly. Here's something important to understand: while eggs provide niacin and choline, they're not going to single-handedly restore depleted NAD plus levels in someone with metabolic dysfunction. If someone has insulin resistance, chronic inflammation, or advanced age, their ability to synthesize and maintain ND plus is compromised at a systemic level. Adding eggs helps, but it's not sufficient on its own. The recommended intake for brain health support would be 3 to 7 eggs per week, assuming no contraindications. That's enough to provide meaningful amounts of choline and niacin without excessive cholesterol load for most people. But again, individual variation is huge. In summary, eggs offer legitimate nutritional support for brain metabolism through multiple pathways related to NAD plus function. They're not a miracle food, but they're a reasonable component of a brain-healthy diet when consumed thoughtfully and prepared properly.